Why 93% of women never lose their belly fat. Over the last decade, I've undergone many transformations of my own, going through bulking phases and cutting phases to become a natural professional bodybuilder and a medical doctor. In this time, I've coached men and women, and I know exactly what it is that has stopped them and most people from reaching their goals. I've made this video before, but I wanted to make one more highlighting the issues that the ladies are facing. So recently, my mom and my mother-in-law have been inspired to lose weight, and I had to explain to them these things so that they can be able to lose the weight. And my mother-in-law more recently dropped 20 pounds making these simple adjustments. This is so common. We fix these things with Sandra, Shannon, Hallie, Kimberly, Dr. Ruth losing her baby weight. A video for the ladies, but guys, a lot of you, this will apply to you as well. So you can also be able to educate your wife, your daughter, or any ladies in your life about the information I'm about to share with you. Let's kick it off. Number one is that they don't understand their body when they're going through their menstrual cycle or if you're going through menopause. Now, I think it's important we understand what these two terms are. The term menstrual comes from the Latin word of month, reflecting the approximately 28-day cycle that women experience from puberty until menopause. Throughout the cycle, the body undergoes hormonal changes aimed at preparing the body for possible pregnancy. These changes include maturation of the egg, its release, and the preparation of the uterine wall to potentially host the fertilized egg. The uterine wall thickens, gearing up to nourish the embryo. If the pregnancy doesn't occur, the uterine wall is shed, and it's commonly known as menstruation or your period. So day one of your menstrual cycle is marked by the start of your period, which typically lasts between 3 to 5 days. The rest of the 28-day cycle is split into two main phases, the follicular phase and the luteal phase. The follicular phase covers roughly the first half of the cycle up until ovulation, which is on day 14, when an egg is released into the ovaries. The second half of the cycle is the luteal phase. While there are many hormones at play, we'll focus primarily on two hormones today, estrogen and progesterone. In the early part of the follicular phase, both estrogen and progesterone are at low levels. As we move into the late follicular phase, estrogen level rises sharply, peaking right before ovulation, then declining, rising again mid-luteal phase, and before dropping dramatically as they approach the next period. Progesterone, on the other hand, remains low during the follicular phase but begins to increase significantly after ovulation, peaking in the early luteal phase and then declining to sync again with estrogen. So you may be asking, why does this matter focusing on dieting and fitness? Well, these hormones have a significant influence in your appetite and in your food cravings. And understanding these patterns can help you manage your diet so much better and your exercising routines more effectively. Menopause is the natural biological process that marks the end of the woman's menstrual cycles. It's officially diagnosed after a woman has gone 12 consecutive months without menstruating. This transition typically occurs between the ages of 45 and 55, and it can vary widely. Sometimes women can start experiencing menopausal symptoms as early as 35. This is also important to know because with a stop in menstrual cycles, there is a change in your hormonal profile and how that can affect your body. And we'll talk more about the details as we go through this video. But let me know if you guys want to see a video where I'm talking specifically about how to diet and how to train according to your menstrual cycle and through menopause. So something I see all the time, women think that they've lost their progress going through their period, but studies say and show that it's normal for your weight to go up while losing weight during your cycle. The study aimed to investigate changes in the body and the composition during the menstrual cycle in 42 women, and the results showed a statistical significant increase in the body's weight during the menstruation period compared to the first week of the cycle, primarily due to extracellular water retention. No other significant changes in body composition were observed, suggesting that the menstrual cycle fluctuations may primarily affect the body weight rather than the composition. These findings highlight the importance of considering the menstrual cycle phases when interpreting fluctuations in your weight and the composition in women. It's very common I see females get discouraged or give up in their journey to a better composition. Depending on where they are in their cycle, they'll be able to see results and then they'll see this rise in weight even though they've stuck to the plan, and that sometimes can be a slap in the face. My general recommendation is first, it's important to track your cycle, and there are many apps for this, and better understand how your body behaves during the follicular phase and the luteal phase. Secondly, when starting your transformation, give yourself 4 weeks before making a final judgment and just stick to it. Setting these expectations can be very healthy for your physique journey. Also, use other tools just besides the weight scale, because the weight scale can be very misleading. Compare photos from week 1 to week 3, and also use a body tape measurement tool when you're assessing your progress. You may see that your weight starts to creep up, but at the same time, you're seeing that you're decreasing inches in your waist. The second thing I see is not knowing how to manage your exercise during the cycle. Different phases of your menstrual cycle, due to the fluctuations of hormones, can affect your metabolism and recovery from exercise, particularly for women participating in endurance activities. Understanding the rise and fall of hormones during the menstrual cycle can allow women to adapt exercise routines and nutrition and optimize their chances of succeeding with any training or weight loss plan that they might have. So starting the week after heavy bleeding can be the ideal time to start your program. Your appetite will be at its lowest according to your hormones, and ladies usually feel their strongest. I have to say that all women are different and they can react differently due to their hormones. So take this information into account and compare against how you feel. I see this stopping so many females in their dieting because they'll start their diet during the luteal phase, where they may feel hungrier and have more cravings and they're not feeling 100% in the gym. And this can also be discouraging at the very beginning of the diet. Now, yes, you can start your journey here, but I've experienced when women understand what's going on with their body, they're kinder to their process and they'll rather use this information to their benefit. Maybe start on higher calories during this period and lower your training volume, and this will be so much better for you overall. And again, this will stop women from losing their belly fat because of the lack of this information and education. Before I move into the next point, this is the first video that I've made for the ladies. I definitely believe there's so much more information to share. Let me know by leaving the video with a gentle thumbs up if you guys would like more of this kind of content, and comment it in the comment section down below. What would you like to see from me? Should we do a video highlighting the menstrual cycle and how that affects your body during dieting and training? If so, I'll do that one for you guys next. But let's move on into the next point. Number 3, if you're on contraceptive pills, it can cause water retention, giving you this feeling of gaining fat and not seeing any results. Progestins can stimulate your appetite, and estrogen can cause you to retain water. If your contraception has a high dose of progestin or estrogen, you may be more likely to see change in your weight. That swollen feeling happens because of the estrogen. It also affects the way your body metabolizes water by influencing the production of certain proteins in the kidneys. The end result is the body retains more fluid than it usually would. This then seeps into your fat cells, causing them to swell up, because women tend to store more fat in their breast, hips, and thighs, and these are the areas that will expand the most. This also happens on a smaller scale in women who aren't on the pill during the week or just before their period. But this is exaggerated on contraceptive pills, because synthetically, estrogen is 6 to 10 times more potent than the natural kind, and because it's taken nearly every day, which means the level of both hormones are more consistent. Number 4, it's the effects of menopause on weight loss. During menopause, women go through a lot of hormonal changes, and it might be with having trouble sleeping, which can make you gain weight. Women will typically feel more anxious, they might have more cravings towards sweets or carbs, and this will typically boost their mood. After menopause, women have lower testosterone levels, which means they'll lose muscle mass and also burn fewer calories. Weight gain often continues at a rate of 1.5 pounds each year, best case scenario, as a woman goes through her 50s and losing some degree of muscle. Postmenopausal women need to have a comprehensive program in order to lose weight, but not just cutting out foods. Ladies, I highly recommend visiting your endocrinologist or your gynae and ask them to pull your bloods. This is exactly what happened to my mom and my mother-in-law. What can happen is that hormone replacement therapy, HRT, is recommended to bring your hormones back to normal levels, restore your sleep, so you can easily have the weight come off and for you to feel better. Again, this is an oversimplification, but we see this all the time with our clients. And I want to be able to say, if you're a lady and you've been struggling with your weight, the weight has been coming up, and no matter what you do, no matter what training plan you follow, the weight isn't falling off, I highly recommend to book in a call to be able to work with us. The ladies we work with are typically 35 years of age and older, who are maybe dealing with early symptoms of menopause, and they finally want to release their weight, improve their brain fog, improve their sleep, and we'll be able to guide you through this step by step using what I call my DNA sequence. We help men and women be able to release their weight and to be in better shape. If that is you, go into the description of this video and fill out the application to work with myself and my team of doctors. We are a premium product, but we do guarantee the result. But let's move on into the fifth thing that's stopping women from losing their belly fat. And for men too, it's severely under eating or crash dieting. Eating below 1,200 calories, many women make the mistake of drastically cutting their calories by 700 to 800 calories in the hopes of quick weight loss. But this will backfire. Eating below 1,200 calories doesn't help because your bodies adapt to the cut and slow down your metabolism, making weight loss harder. In women, this can also lead to hormonal imbalances and cycle irregularities, and that can affect your mood and your health, and further, let alone increase the risk of nutrient deficiencies. Extreme calorie reduction is also associated with regaining the weight loss soon after because it's just simply not sustainable. 6. Following the wrong macro ratio and under eating protein. The reason we need to calculate the macros for ladies is that when we're aiming for weight loss, we need to prioritize just not shedding fat, but also preserving muscle mass. When cutting calories, a lot of women focus on eating salads thinking this will lead to weight loss, but it's low in calories, whereas the right approach is to load up on protein because protein isn't just for bodybuilders. It's a common misconception. Protein is the most important macro when it comes to losing weight. It often is called the building blocks for your body, and therefore may explain why you're seeing this decrease in weight but also in muscle mass. When you're in a caloric deficit and you're eating fewer calories in general, your body sometimes runs out of carbs to utilize as a source of energy. And the second quickest source after carbs is protein. This means that when you're on a diet, your body sometimes uses your muscle fibers for energy. So if you're not eating enough protein to replace this in the diet, you'll end up losing some of your muscle tissue. Here's a typical scenario on a low protein diet. You're excited, you've lost 3 pounds per week, but in reality, most of that is lost as muscle mass, and you even have a higher body fat percentage now because you have less muscle because fat's still there. This will also make the further weight loss harder because losing muscle means that you're also slowing down your metabolism. Additionally, protein is more satiating than carbs and fats. You'll feel fuller eating it, so it will help you stay fuller for longer. So it also will help you stay consistent and stay on track. And lastly, your body burns more calories digesting protein compared to carbs and fats. So ladies, make sure that you're hitting your protein intake. I sometimes go 1 gram per pound of body weight. So if you're 150 pounds, eat 150 grams, and I don't change that. The next thing I see is wrong expectations and focus. Women, they'll often compare themselves to men, and they'll expect to lose the same weight at the same rate as men, and when they don't see this, they get very discouraged. And the truth is that women don't have as much muscle mass or as much testosterone as men. So take this into consideration. It will be slower for you, but you'll get there. Women also have much lower testosterone levels and hence lower muscle mass. Men have higher testosterone levels than women. So men inherently tend to have more skeletal muscle tissue than women due to the elevated levels of testosterone. So their bodies tend to consume more energy just from existing. Also, women have lower muscle mass and a lower metabolic rate on average, and women carry about 10% more body fat than men, which of course is driven by hormones. Women have more fat per pound on body mass than men, assuming all the hormones and physiology is the same. Additionally, women generally burn fewer calories than men because they have a lower metabolic rate. This means their bodies need less energy for basic functions like breathing and thinking. The extra calories that they consume is often stored as fat. So there's a study that was released, right? 1,504 women, 720 men. More men than women lost weight after a low energy diet, with men experiencing a 16% greater weight loss. Moreover, women typically have more body fat compared to men. Men tend to have more muscle, which burns more calories than fat, even when they're not doing anything. These are the two factors that affect this. Is your hormones and your basal metabolic rate. It lies at the root of an often easier route for men to lose weight. The ninth thing that I see with a lot of ladies is not being patient enough. It's too common for ladies to expect rapid results, and men as well, and get discouraged when they don't see instant results after 1 month. This basically is a setup for failure because A true healthy weight loss is more of a long game. It's not a sprint at all. It requires persistence and, most importantly, for you to be patient. So people set goals like losing 10 pounds and getting abs in a month, and they start their journey, they start starving themselves and doing too much cardio and trying to achieve this goal in a short span of time, and it doesn't happen. From my experience with my clients, this kind of approach is often followed by a rebound to old and unhealthy habits. The reality is, belly fat is more stubborn than the other part in the body is usually the last part to go. So losing this fat sustainably involves an integrated approach of a balanced diet, consistent exercise, and a lifestyle change. And most importantly, it requires your time and patience. So when you set yourself a weight loss goal, remember that rapid belly fat loss is not only unrealistic, but it's also often unhealthy. The key to sustainable success is setting up expectations and making them realistic. Stick to the plan, stick to the regimen, and give your body time to make real lasting changes. The 10th thing I see with a lot of ladies that stop them from getting results is overdoing cardio. Cardio, does it help you to lose weight? Yes, but you're probably doing it wrong. Think of cardio like watering your plants. If you water your garden excessively, it's going to not result in faster growth. You might end up even drowning the plants. Similarly, when you engage in excessive cardio, you're overwatering the body. Too much cardio can put you under chronic stress and inflammation. The stress response can trigger the release of cortisol, the stress hormone, which inhibits fat loss and can even promote fat storage, particularly around the belly. Many women start very aggressively, 4 to 5 hours of cardio per week, and lead to this accumulation of stress and chronic inflammation in their bodies. The physical activity guidelines for Americans recommends 150 to 300 moderate intensity minutes or 75 to 150 vigorous intensity minutes per week. Additionally, researchers studied how much energy people use up when they exercise. It's different. They found that when you first start exercising, you burn more calories. But as you keep going, your body gets used to it and starts saving energy. So even if you exercise a lot, you might not burn as many calories as you'd expect after a while. This shows that doing a lot of cardio might not be the best way to lose weight. Our bodies get used to higher activity levels, like a car that uses less fuel on a long trip. So the more you work out, the more your body tries to save energy without realizing it. So my recommendation here is, again, have a strategy and have a stepwise strategy when you're going through this entire process. And the final thing, and this is a bonus, 11, is not weight training. Ladies, I want you to stop focusing on the scale so much and focus on your body and what it's made for. I want you to get strong. When you lift heavy, you will not become a guy. Weightlifting does not make you bulky. It only makes your fat loss journey easier. The main hormone involved in building muscle mass, and I want you guys to listen to me, is testosterone. And women have around 10% the amount that men have. 10%. Most men work very hard to gain serious muscle mass. Ask me, I look like this, I'm not even that impressive to some, and I've been working out for 10 years. So weightlifting making you bulky is a myth. You need to do resistance training and training hard with good form to build muscle and sustain that fat when you lose it. Cardio alone is not the right answer. Cutting out food alone is not the right answer, but you need these two to go together to build muscle, to opt for sustainable weight loss, and potentially maintain this weight off forever. You're going to need this as you reach the end of your menstrual cycles and you're into menopause. If you want to prevent osteoporosis, muscle tissue is very metabolically active, meaning it requires consistent calories to keep it alive and functioning. So the more muscle you have, the more calories you burn throughout the day, even at rest, this will be good for you. The American College of Sports and Medicine recommends that adults perform resistance training such as weightlifting 2 to 3 times per week, and I personally consider that at minimum. Here's an interesting fact. 1 pound of muscle burns around 6 to 7 calories per day, just 1 pound, while 1 pound of fat only burns 2 calories a day. So boosting your lean muscle mass through resistance bodyweight exercise can increase your body caloric burn and your overall metabolism. This also reduces your risk of osteoporosis in women experiencing menopause. The benefits of resistance training is endless. A study found that strength training led to positive shifts in attitudes about weight, fitness, and health among middle-aged women. These are the 11 things that I see stopping women from losing their belly fat. They're missing a lot of pieces, the information about the body and their cycle, the information about how they should be eating and how they should be training. This is my first video specifically for women. If you guys want more of this kind of content where I go into the nitty-gritty and I can build a good foundation for you guys, leave the video with a gentle thumbs up and comment down below. But I'll leave the video there. I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.